6 decisions. One sport-wide argument that never ends. Every robbery has a swing round. One round where half the world scores damage and the other half scores control or optics. I'm giving you the 6 fights that still start wars in comments. Strongest first, and I'm ending with the one that splits fans to this day. If you can call the swing round before I freeze the fight, you're scoring like a judge. Let's go. This is the modern blueprint for how did he lose. Jon Jones versus Dominick Reyes, UFC 247. February 2020. Jones defending his light heavyweight title against an undefeated challenger who looked like the future of the division. One judge scored it, 49-46 for Jones. Even Dana White said he had it for Reyes. Here's what makes this the perfect modern robbery. Reyes came out on fire in the first 2 rounds. Cleaner boxing, harder shots, visible success. He was outstriking Jones, controlling distance and making the champion look mortal. Round 3 is where everything changes. Freeze. This is the swing round. Now watch what happens when the same round gets scored. 2 completely different ways. What fans saw was Reyes still landing the cleaner shots, still controlling the pace, still winning exchanges. What judges saw was Jones pressing forward. Championship optics, the look of a champion who refuses to break. All 3 judges gave Jones round 3. Then they gave him 4 and 5 because he turned up the pressure late. 2 philosophies collide. If you value clean striking and visible damage, Reyes won. If you value who looks like they're controlling the fight, Jones edges it. 2 philosophies collide. Most media scored it for Reyes. The judges all went Jones. This is the fight that proved if a round is close, the champion gets the benefit. So pause the video right now. Which rounds did you score for Reyes? 1, 2, 3, or only 1 and 2?
Drop it in the comments. I'll wait.
This one isn't debated. It's detonated. Diego Sanchez versus Ross Pearson. UFC Fight Night Albuquerque, June 2014. This decision is used as the example whenever fans say judging is broken. Pearson outstriked Sanchez in every single round. He dropped him in round 2. He controlled distance, landed cleaner, fought the smarter fight. Nearly every media member scored it for Pearson. The judges? Split decision for Sanchez. Freeze. Here's a clear Pearson sequence. Clean punches, distance control, technical dominance. Now here's what 2 judges somehow saw. Diego pressing forward. Diego looking busy. Diego's hometown crowd going crazy for aggression that wasn't landing. One judge scored it 30-27 for Sanchez, gave him every single round. In the second round, Diego got dropped and that same judge still gave him the round. Dana White called it insanity and paid Pearson his win bonus anyway. Here's why this one stings differently than the others. It's not a close fight people interpret differently. It's a clear fight that got scored wrong. This is why looking busy tricks people. Some judges score motion instead of impact. This isn't a robbery, it's a malpractice report. Be honest. Did Pearson win 2 rounds or 3? Next, the title fight that changed everything. This is the fight that turned robbery into a religion. Georges St-Pierre versus Johny Hendricks. UFC C7, November 2013. GSP defending his welterweight title in what would be his last fight for years. Hendricks came out swinging and beat GSP up for 25 minutes. At the end of the fight, GSP's face was a swollen, bloody mess. Hendricks looked untouched. The judges gave it to GSP by split decision. The controversy was so massive that GSP vacated the title and walked away from the sport. Freeze. Here's the round everyone argues about. Round 1. Watch Hendricks land heavy left hands. Hard elbows in the clinch. Big power shots that snap GSP's head back. Now watch GSP. Early takedown jabs that don't hurt. Control time that doesn't damage. 2 judges gave round 1 to GSP. That's the decision. Everything else after that round is clear. But that first round is where 2 completely different philosophies crash into each other. Some people score what looks heavy. Some people score what controls minutes. Hendricks landed the bigger shots, wobbled GSP, busted up his face. GSP got the takedown, landed more total strikes, controlled more time. Both sides are right about different things. Score it like a fight. Hendricks won. Score it like rounds. GSP survives. This is why fans stopped trusting judging. Do you score by damage or by rounds? Pattern break. Next, the classic counter-style robbery. Lyoto Machida versus Mauricio Shogun Rua. UFC 104, October 2009. This is the fight that taught people what effective striking actually means. Machida was the light heavyweight champion, undefeated, known for his elusive karate style. Shogun was the challenger coming off injuries trying to prove he was still elite. The judges gave it to Machida by unanimous decision. The fans rioted. The reaction was so violent that the UFC immediately booked a rematch. Watch this sequence. Machida lands clean counters, in and out, touching Shogun without getting hit. Now watch Shogun. Leg kicks that compromise Machida's movement. Heavier shots to the body. forward pressure that forces exchanges. All three judges gave it to Machida. Most fans and media gave it to Shogun. They had a rematch 5 months later, and Shogun knocked Machida out in the first round. Here's the scoring problem with counterfighters. Some people score what looks clean. Some people score what looks dominant. Machida's style is about efficiency. Touch you without getting touched. Control exchanges. Never in danger. Technically perfect. Shogun's style is about attrition. Break you down with leg kicks, body shots, make you feel it in the championship rounds. Low output counterfights create robberies because fans remember the biggest moment, not the scoring rhythm. When one guy lands clean and the other guy lands heavy, the whole sport splits. This is the night effective striking became a fight in itself. Do you reward clean or heavy? 2 left, and the last one will start a war. Volume versus moments. The most divisive kind of robbery. Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit, UFC 19-5, January 2016. Lawler defending his welterweight title in an absolute war that had the crowd on their feet for all 5 rounds. The judges gave it to Lawler by split decision. Half the world screamed robbery for Condit. The other half said Lawler earned it in the trenches. Freeze. Watch Condit. Combinations, output, constant activity, stealing rounds with volume in the final seconds. Now watch Lawler. Bigger moments, harder shots, visible damage, the kind of power that makes you respect the threat. Here's the split. Some people score who did more. Some people score who did more damage. Condit threw more, landed more, stayed active for 25 minutes. Lawler landed the shots that mattered, hurt Condit more, controlled the big moments of the fight. This is where fans argue about what winning even looks like. The judges split on it, the fans split on it, the media split on it. Both sides are right about different things. This is what happens when the sport can't decide if it's boxing or damage. What wins the round, volume or impact? Last one, it's personal. This is the decision that split the fan base in half. Permanently. Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski. 2. UFC 25-1, July 2020. Volkanovski defending the featherweight title he took from Holloway 6 months earlier. The judges scored it for Volkanovski by split decision. FanDuel Sportsbook refunded all bets on Holloway because the decision was that controversial. All 3 judges gave Holloway rounds 1 and 2. All 3 judges gave Volkanovski round 3. They split on 4 and 5. Freeze. Round 3. This is the swing round that decided the entire fight. Holloway came out on fire in rounds 1 and 2, scoring knockdowns, battering Volkanovski, looking like he was about to reclaim his title. Round 3 is where Volkanovski turned the He started landing, matching Holloway's output, showing championship heart. All 3 judges gave it to Volkanovski. Then rounds 4 and 5, Volkanovski outlands Holloway in each of the last 3 rounds. He's pressing, he's scoring, he's showing why he's the champion. But did he do enough to overcome 2 dominant rounds from Holloway? Here's what makes this different. Holloway's rounds 1 and 2 were crystal clear. Wide, dominant, no question. Volkanovski's rounds 3, 4, and 5 were competitive, close enough to argue. Some people say dominant rounds should count more than narrow ones. Some people say close championship rounds go to the guy who fought like a champion. Both sides are right about different things. Max Holloway fans versus Volk fans. This is your Super Bowl. This is the decision that made robbed a permanent part of MMA vocabulary. Who won and what round decided it? Here's the question nobody wants to answer. Were these the right decisions? Because when you get it wrong, it's not just about one bad night. It's about what happens after. Reyes never got another title shot and went on a 3-fight skid. Hendricks fell apart after GSP walked away, went 4-6 in his next 10 and eventually got cut. Pearson's momentum died in Albuquerque and he was out of the UFC 2 years later. These aren't just controversial scorecards. They're career killers. One bad decision can cost a fighter millions in earnings, sponsorships, and legacy. And the judges go home and score another card next week like nothing happened. And here's the part that makes people paranoid. Does media coverage influence judges sitting cagey-side hearing commentators hype one guy over the other? Does the UFC making more money with a champion who sells pay-per-views change how athletic commissions assign judges to certain fights? When a title defense keeps a cash cow relevant and a challenger win creates a question mark, are close rounds really scored equally? Nobody will admit it. The UFC says judges are independent, commissions say they're unbiased, but fans see Jon Jones get round 3, they see GSP keep his belt and immediately retire. They see Diego win in his hometown while the crowd goes crazy. And that's why robberies never die, because sometimes it feels like the wrong guy wins for the right reasons. Here's the truth. Some robberies are real. Some are fans scoring the wrong criteria. If you think half of these weren't robberies, part 2 will make you mad. Robberies that weren't robberies, scored round by round, using the actual judging priorities. One word. Who got robbed the hardest? Drop it below right now. I'll pin the best one.